questions been asked. If we're no longer the pencil with which God writes, as Mother Teresa has said, or the hole in the flute through which God plays, then what are we? Also the questions, what is it that's present when stillness and movement meet? Where are we? What is this place that lies beyond existence, knowledge and bliss, or Satchitananda? What is the secret that's contained in every story? Could it be that these questions are the same, couched in different ways, and that there's only one answer? Let's see if, when putting these two old Sufi stories together, we might be able to glean the answer contained therein. The first is that story about the rich date merchant. He sold dates, and one day he had to go on a journey to do some business, but on the way his horse stumbled over a rock and he fell, hurting his ankle very badly. But fortunately, not far away, there was a very palatial residence. So he made his way to this residence and knocked on the door. And the door was answered by a tall and handsome man, dressed most magnificently, long boots that came up to his knees, carved in beautiful leather, a waistcoat embroidered on satin, and a silken cravat. He said to this handsome man, I've hurt my ankle. May I impose on your hospitality? Of course, said the handsome man, come in. And his ankle was bathed and bound and taken care of. He was given a sumptuous meal and escorted to a very comfortable chamber for the evening. In the morning, the handsome man came and redressed his ankle and helped him to dress in clean garb and gave him supplies to take on his way, because he was now well enough to re-embark on his journey. As he was leaving the front door of the house, he happened to glance over, and there, leaning against a doorway which was obviously the servants' entrance, there was an old man dressed like a beggar with straw sandals on his feet, a long white beard. And the traveller thought to himself, oh, what a poor looking man this is. But he went on his way. And some months later, he had to go that way again. So he decided that he would call in and give his thanks again to those that had given him hospitality. But he stopped at a coffee shop on the way for a cup of coffee, and as he was speaking to the shop owner, he said, he recounted what had happened to him and said that he was on his way back to this residence to give thanks for what had been given to him. And the shopkeeper looked very sad, and he said, oh, a great tragedy. The master of that house has died. He was a man who gave alms and largesse to everyone. There was not one person in this village who had need, because he fulfilled those needs generously. So, quite sad, the traveller, the merchant, went to the house to give his condolences. But when he knocked on the door was opened by the same tall, handsome man. And the traveller said, "Oh, I'm so very glad. I was told that you had passed away, that the master of this house had died." And the tall, handsome man said, "Yes, yes, I am not the master of this house, and indeed my master has passed away. Did you happen to see an old man with a long white beard when you were here previously?" "Yes," said the merchant. And the servant, the handsome man, said, "That was my master." And then the second story is the story about the dervish who wanted to know the most great name, because it was said that the most great name gave the power to change life, to change reality. And this dervish heard that there was a certain Sufi Sheikh who knew this name. So he traveled and approached this great Sheikh, asking him, would he teach him the most great name? And the Sufi said, "To learn the most great name, you must first be tested as I was tested by my master. You must go to the city gate and sit there throughout the day from dawn till dusk, and return and report to me what it was the most significant occurrence." So dutifully the dervish went off to the city gate and sat there throughout the day. And in the evening he came back to the Sufi Sheikh, and the Sufi Sheikh said, "Well, what was it that occurred?" And the dervish said, "Well, I sat with great attention outside the city gates, and the most significant occurrence was when an old man carrying a load of wood came to the gate and was accosted by the soldiers there, who demanded a tax on the wood that he was taking in to the city to sell. But because the old man did not have money and asked the soldiers, could he please sell his wood before he came out and paid his tax, the soldiers cruelly took his wood from him, beat him, and sent him away." And the Sufi Sheikh said to the dervish, "Well, what would you have done?" And the dervish said, "Well, if I had known the most great name, the fate of that old man would have been very different." "Ah," said the Sufi Sheikh, "you have not passed the test. The old man carrying the wood was none other than my own master, and the most great name is that which is service to all of life, all of the time." these two stories give us the answer to all of the questions that have been posed. What are we when we're no longer the pencil or the whole? What is it that's present when stillness and movement meet? Where are we? What is this place that lies beyond existence, knowledge and bliss, or the levels of life? And the secret that's contained in every story, no matter what story it might be. What is this most great name? What is this power? What is it that you find present in your life at every single moment now? And whenever there's any diversion, any chance of a seduction, immediately it's present. What is this in your life now? What is this most great name, so called?